All right, a new MCU movie is out. I know it's been a while since I reviewed one, since there was only one that came out last year, and that was Deadpool and Wolverine, which was fantastic. Now we're starting the year off with the first of three MCU movies that are coming out this year, and that is Captain America Brave New World, directed by Julius Ona, I think that's his name. Anyways, it stars Anthony Mackie as Falcon, but now he's Captain America after the ending of Avengers Endgame. And of course, then there was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And this is continuing off of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And yeah, he's trying to fill the shoes of Steve Rogers. And then there's this, and then he gets caught up in this international incident and he has to uncover this global plan and shit like that. There's a lot going on in this movie, and I'm here to review it. Now, I will say, when this movie, when I heard about this movie, like behind the scenes, then I saw the trailers, and I was not looking forward to this movie. Plus, I was not a fan of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so that also added to me really not being excited for this movie. And I gotta say, it's better than I thought it was gonna be. But did I love this movie? No. Did I hate it? No. It's one of those, I didn't hate it kind of movies. So let's get my positives out of the way. When it comes to like the big CGI-ish action, I was perfectly entertained. Nice, exciting stuff there. You know, Anthony Mackie delivers when he needs to. There's some nice, exciting stuff. Lots of destruction, explosions, flying around, all that. All that shit was nice. Typical MCU stuff for sure, but I was having fun with it. That Red Hulk action sequence was really good. I really enjoyed that action sequence. Lots of fun. It was great. I thought Harrison Ford, he was a good replacement as General Ross. I really liked him. You know, it's Harrison Ford. How can you not like Harrison Ford? He's great in everything. Even though I know a lot of people don't like Dial of Destiny, but you gotta admit, he was great in that movie. Some of the effects were pretty good too. There are some dodgy effects here, but the bad effects in this movie are still nowhere near as bad as some of the other Marvel movies. Like, I think the Marvels had worse effects. Thor Love and Thunder had worse effects. You know. But yeah, some of the effects that were good were really good. Like, I thought Red Hulk looked great for the brief amount of screen time that he had. I'll get to that in the negatives. But yeah, overall, when it comes to just simply being an action movie, for the most part, it's pretty fun. I like the performances. Yeah, when it comes to like just pure fun, this movie, it kind of succeeds more often than not. Now, when it comes to the negatives, this movie, for a movie that's trying to tie up some loose ends from previous MCU movies, and finally trying to set up Doomsday and Secret Wars, this movie does nothing to stand out. What this movie lacks is that hard-hitting, visceral thrills that the previous two Captain America movies had. It tries to have that, but it doesn't entirely succeed. So here's what The Winter Soldier and Civil War got right. Yes, there was lots of big CGI action sequences, and those were good too. But they also had good, hand-to-hand combat scenes. You know, the scenes, like action sequences that involve just purely on stunt choreography and, little to no CGI. This movie attempts to do that, but it does not work. It's kind of baffling how the big CGI action sequences are better than the hand-to-hand combat scenes in this movie. They are very sloppy, lazy, and sluggish. So really, when it comes to like all of the action, you do get some thrills, but when it comes to like mano-a-mano, hand-to-hand combat, this movie loses itself. It doesn't What kind of stunt coordinators did this movie have? Wow. And also, this movie's kind of messy too. There's way too much going on. And this is one of the shortest MCU movies. It's under 2 hours. When you take away the fucking the end credits, this movie's only, an hour and 40 something minutes long. This movie has way too much crammed in. This is a movie that should have been longer. And then there's the big promotional aspect of this movie. The thing that this movie was heavily marketing before this movie came out, that was Red Hulk. He's barely in the movie. I mean, you get lots of Harrison Ford as General Ross, but when it comes to Red Hulk, it's maybe 5-6 minutes at most. Like I said, the action sequence involving Red Hulk was great. It was fun. But I wish there was more. This movie would have gotten a big boost in entertainment value if Red Hulk was in it more. I mean, Harrison Ford's doing great as a General Ross, but if he would have hulked out as Red Hulk more, there could have been a lot more entertainment value in this movie. This movie would have bumped up a few notches for me if they did. And also, in typical recent MCU fashion, there's lots of comedy in this movie, and it fails at that too. Lots of unfunny humor in this movie, lots of forced humor. Yeah, I know some people were bitching about Deadpool and Wolverine having forced humor. No, it didn't. No. Deadpool and Wolverine was meant to be funny, because Deadpool's supposed to be funny. And also, Deadpool and Wolverine was funny. This movie is not. There's also some extremely annoying characters in this movie. There's a new Falcon here, because the original Falcon is now Captain America. As I explained, and if you've seen this movie in previous MCU stuff, you should know this already. But yeah, there's a new Falcon, and he's supposed to be like some comic relief. Oh boy, yeah, I think he's the worst aspect of this movie, and this movie tries to be self-aware about it because there's a part in this movie where they're like, yeah, we can't get this guy to shut up. Just because you're being self-aware about it, that doesn't make it work. Like, Deadpool is good at being self-aware, and it adds to the comedy, but here it didn't. I think they believed that it would have, but I don't think the writers of this movie were smart enough to realize that. It did not work, and my god, the comedy in this movie is not fucking funny. Now, I think I'm complaining a lot more than I thought I would in about this movie, but man, I am a fan of the MCU, and I was hoping this movie would have been, good. And I will say, yeah, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I thought this movie was going to be a fucking shit show. It is better than the Marvels. It is better than Thor: Love and Thunder. It is better than Ant-Man: Quantumania. But is it like among one of the best MCU movies? Hell no. Did I hate this movie? No. Did I love it? No. Did I really like it? Not really. I think when I rank the MCU, I would say that this is definitely one of the most mediocre ones out of the whole slate of MCU movies from the start all the way to now. This is definitely one of the most mediocre ones. It's not the worst. That title still goes to the Marvels. That movie's hot fucking trash. But is this a movie I can recommend? I would say if you're like the most hardcore fan of the MCU, me being one of those people, give it a watch. Who knows, you might like it. There are some people that like this movie, and you know what? That's great. For me, it is watchable, but it's still pretty underwhelming considering the level of greatness that the MCU has achieved over the years. So yeah, I can't fully recommend this movie, especially if you're not an MCU fan. but I think it is worth watching just to check out, to see if you like it or not. That's as far as I can go. It's watchable but bland. I don't know how well this movie will stack up compared to the rest. But yeah, this is definitely not one that I'm going to remember a whole lot down the road. And it's a shame because this time they're finally setting up Secret Wars and Doomsday. So, gotta give it credit for that at least. I am going to give Captain America Brave New World a C.